Oh, I actually want to talk a little bit about this post because there's a lot of people out there that truly are stupid or they don't connect the dots as easily as it is and they're fucking ignorant. Now this man, right, he is saying, in other words, he's trying to make fun of people that, are immigrants, right, and that, in his eyes, they didn't come in the right way, right? So he's pretty much telling people that, they do like immigrants as long as you come in the legal way, right? Now, what this man doesn't seem to understand is that the government who runs this country right now are the same people, right, that came 500 years ago, or 250 years when the country was born. But what he doesn't seem to understand is that the American government stole parts of land of Mexico for a reason. The reason they stole land from them is because obviously they want to steal it. They want to, they want to colonize, America. And obviously they have to get rid of the people that are there. So they got rid of Mexicans and they colonized it, which they ended up colonizing California, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, all of these states, right? Now, my question to this stupid man is this. Why would you think that you, being a Chinese man, right, you being an immigrant as much as they are immigrants, right? Because let's look at reality here, right? But in order for these people, these immigrants to come to America, they have to cross the Atlantic Ocean to get here, right or wrong? They do. So obviously, the only way individuals such as this Chinese man who came here, obviously, right, the correct way, because there's no other way to come in. I mean, it's not like there's ships that they sell so they could get on board and come in here the wrong way, right? You gotta come in the right way only, because the only way you could come in is obviously if you buy a damn plane ticket, which you gotta have a passport to travel, right? So at the end of the day, obviously, the government has to allow you to come in here, right? Obviously, right? So, let's use the same perspective towards the Mexicans. Well, believe it or not, for the Mexicans, it's not that easy. Nope, it's not. I wonder why. Well, obviously, if they kick them out of their own country, they're not gonna make it easily accessible for them to enter something where they got kicked out of. It's common sense, right? But this moron thinks that he can make fun of people, right? And another thing I want to mention is this. Hasn't anybody noticed that the Canadian border is wide open? I wonder why. Is this really immigration or is this racism? Well, it looks to me like it's more racism than immigration. Fucking idiots. Obviously, this man, because he's Chinese, they don't mind him to come in here because, one, it doesn't make them look good with not allowing other immigrants, such they are themselves immigrants, which they cross the Atlantic Ocean just as much as the Chinese man did. It doesn't look appropriate to not allow him to enter when they themselves did the same thing. So obviously for them, so they don't look like hypocrites, they're gonna allow them to enter, and as long as it's not indigenous people, they don't mind, obviously, right? But this ignorant, dumb motherfucker thinks that it is easy, I guess, for Mexicans to enter their own land. I think the best question or the best answer to ask here is this. How is it that land theft turns Mexicans into immigrants? That's the best answer or question I would want to get. How come they turn immigrants when literally they got land theft? Their land got stolen. How does that turn anybody an immigrant? I think that's the better answer to ask here, right? Or the question to ask. And I would want an answer from someone. But obviously, no one's going to be able to answer that question because there isn't one. But unless you continue to believe the stupidity, then yeah,